Welcome to an amazing trip through one of the most intriguing mysteries in modern history, the death of Adolf Hitler. The world has been interested in the story of the infamous Nazi leader and the terrible things he did during World War II for many years. But in the end, what did he do? Did he really kill himself in his bunker? Or did he get away and vanish from history? The answers to these questions are kept secret because there are different reports and a lot of guesswork. In this video, we'll take you on a trip you'll never forget as we look at the evidence, sort through the myths and rumors, and find out the shocking facts about how Hitler died. Get ready to hear the shocking truth about this famous person that will change everything you thought you knew about him. So buckle up and get ready for a trip into the unknown that will take your breath away. Adolf Hitler died in his bunker in Berlin, Germany, on April 30th, 1945. According to popular belief, Hitler committed suicide by shooting himself in the head with a handgun as his wife, Eva Braun, bit into a cyanide capsule. Members of Hitler's inner circle allegedly dragged their bodies outside, doused them with gasoline, and set fire to them. A succession of military losses for Nazi Germany highlighted the events leading up to Hitler's death. When Allied forces approached Berlin, Hitler retired to his bunker and refused to surrender. In the bunker, Hitler spent his final days with a small circle of devoted supporters, including his propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, and his wife. Hitler dictated his final will and testament in the early hours of April 30th, denouncing his former comrades and urging the German people to continue fighting the Allies. He then went to his private rooms with Eva Braun and committed suicide. The following day, his corpse was purportedly discovered by his servants, and his death was publicized to the world on May 1, 1945. However, Soviet Union claims a different story. But first of all, who exactly Adolf Hitler was and how did he rose so fast to supremacy? Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889, in the small town of Braunau am Inn in Austria-Hungary. As a child, Hitler was known to be a difficult and temperamental child, often getting into trouble at school and at home. When he was 6 years old, Hitler's family moved to the city of Linz, where he attended school and developed a love of music and art. However, his father disapproved of his interests and instead wanted him to follow in his footsteps as a civil servant. At the age of 13, Hitler's father passed away, leaving his family in a difficult financial situation. This loss had a profound impact on Hitler and led to him becoming even more isolated and withdrawn. He eventually dropped out of school and moved to Vienna, where he pursued his dream of becoming an artist. Despite his efforts, Hitler was rejected from art school and struggled to make a living. He soon became involved in politics and began attending meetings of the German Workers' Party, which later became the Nazi Party. Adolf Hitler's rise to power in the Nazi Party was a combination of several factors, including his charisma, determination, and strategic political maneuvering. When he joined the party in 1919, it was a relatively small and insignificant organization with little public support. However, Hitler quickly recognized the potential of the party as a vehicle for his extremist ideology and began to position himself as a leading figure within its ranks. Hitler's skill for public speaking was one of the primary characteristics that contributed to his ascension. He was a gifted orator, able to attract audiences with his impassioned speeches and compelling eloquence. This allowed him to obtain support for his views and create a following among party members. Hitler was a skillful political player who recognized the need of consolidating control inside the party, in addition to his charm. He worked relentlessly to eliminate competitors and opponents, including orchestrating the notorious Night of the Long Knives in 1934, during which he ordered the killing of many party members who constituted a danger to his leadership. Another important component in Hitler's ascent to power was his ability to capitalize on widespread disillusionment and economic upheaval in Germany following World War I. He cast himself as a rescuer capable of restoring order and prosperity to a society beleaguered by high unemployment, inflation, and political insecurity. Hitler had already established himself as a dominating figure inside the Nazi Party by the time he became its leader in 1921. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany, and he quickly consolidated his power, passing laws that restricted civil liberties and targeted Jews and other minority groups. He also began to expand Germany's territory through military conquest, eventually leading to the start of World War II in 1939. It is important to clarify that Adolf Hitler's actions and policies were responsible for countless atrocities. and any perceived good deeds he may have done cannot justify the immense harm he caused. However, one of the key initiatives that Hitler's regime implemented was the creation of a comprehensive system of social welfare, which included programs for the elderly, disabled, and poor. This system was designed to ensure that all Germans were taken care of and had access to basic necessities, such as food, housing, and medical care. Additionally, Hitler's government invested heavily in infrastructure projects, such as the construction of the Autobahn highway system, which helped to create jobs and boost the economy. Now that we have a relatively clear view about Adolf Hitler, let's get back on what Soviet Union claimed happened pre- and post-mortem. There were rumors and conspiracy theories after the war that Hitler had actually survived and escaped to South America or elsewhere, but these have been widely discredited. The Soviet Union did recover a body that was believed to be Hitler's in the aftermath of the war, but the circumstances surrounding the discovery and the identity of the body have been a subject of controversy and speculation. The Soviets claimed that the body was Hitler's and displayed it publicly as a propaganda tool, but they never released any conclusive evidence to prove the identity of the body. Some historians have suggested that the body may have been a double or a stand-in for Hitler, or that the Soviets may have manipulated the evidence to support their claims. However, the overwhelming majority of evidence suggests that Hitler did in fact die in his bunker in 1945. But what were the reasons for to claim such thing? Evidence was destroyed by the Soviet Union, according to some historians, because it may have revealed Hitler's real cause of death or other sensitive facts concerning his final days. The theory that the Soviet Union wanted to destroy evidence related to Hitler's death suggests that there may have been information about his final days that the Soviet government wanted to keep secret. Some historians have speculated that Hitler may not have actually died in the bunker on April 30, 1945, but instead may have escaped or been captured by the Soviets. If Hitler had survived and been captured by the Soviets, it is possible that he could have been used as a bargaining chip or propaganda tool in the post-war period. Alternatively, he could have been put on trial for war crimes, which would have required a full investigation into his actions during the war. By cremating Hitler's body and scattering his ashes in an undisclosed location, the Soviet Union may have been trying to cover up any evidence that contradicted the official story of Hitler's suicide in the bunker. However, it is important to note that there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, and many historians believe that Hitler did in fact die in the bunker as reported. To prevent his body from being used as a symbol. One theory as to why the Soviet Union would burn Hitler's body is that they wanted to prevent it from becoming a symbol for nationalists, who might use it to rally support for their cause. This makes sense when you consider the historical context in which Hitler's body was discovered. The end of World War II marked a period of immense upheaval in Europe. Millions of people had been killed, entire cities lay in ruins, and political alliances were shifting rapidly. The Allies, led by the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union, were all vying for control over the post-war order. In this context, the Soviet Union was particularly concerned about the rise of German nationalism and the potential for a resurgent Nazi movement. They had borne the brunt of the Nazi invasion and had suffered millions of casualties, so they had a vested interest in preventing any sort of Nazi revival. By burning Hitler's body and keeping the details of his death shrouded in mystery, the Soviet Union may have hoped to diminish his legacy and prevent him from becoming a symbol for future generations. This would have been particularly important given the rising tensions of the Cold War, which pitted the Soviet Union against the Western powers in a struggle for global dominance. Some historians suggest that the Soviet Union may have been concerned that Western nations would try to acquire Hitler's body for their own goals, such as using it as a negotiation chip or putting it on display in a museum, and thereby provoking a global uprising. Another theory about why Hitler's body was burned is that the Soviet Union wanted to prevent it from being captured by Western powers. Some historians speculate that the Soviet Union may have feared that Western powers, such as the United States or Great Britain, would try to capture Hitler's body for their own purposes. One possible reason for this fear is that the Western powers might have used Hitler's body as a bargaining chip in negotiations with the Soviet Union. Alternatively, they might have wanted to put Hitler's body on display in a museum or use it for propaganda purposes. To prevent this from happening, the Soviet Union may have decided to destroy Hitler's body completely. By doing so, they could ensure that Western powers would never be able to get their hands on it. Additionally, by keeping the details of Hitler's death a secret, they could prevent the Western powers from using the discovery of his body as a way to gain an advantage in the post-war world. Another say that Hitler's body was not immediately discovered by Allied forces. His remains were reportedly buried in an unmarked grave and later exhumed and cremated by the Soviets, who claimed to have found his remains in 1945. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into one of the most captivating mysteries of modern history, the death of Adolf Hitler. We hope that this video has provided you with a deeper understanding of the circumstances surrounding Hitler's demise and the impact that his legacy has had on the world. But this is just the beginning of the story. If you're hungry for more, we invite you to explore our channel, where you'll find a wealth of content covering a wide range of fascinating topics. From the world wars to ancient civilizations, we delve into the past to uncover the secrets and stories that have shaped our world today. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of curious minds. We can't wait to share more incredible stories with you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of knowledge.